we doing hot mics at the beginning now?
No, I was hoping not.
A little late now.
Yeah, right.
That's a cool resource. I love that guy.
Yes. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the Political Spotlight, and I am at home and in the studio, and so is Brandon.
Apparently. I probably should have looked into the camera before the episode started to realize that it was like pointed at the top of my head, but that's okay.
Hey, I like the hat there.
Yeah, I switched it up because
I
left my other hat.
Does it say Freedon?
It says, "Give me Freedon," or "Give me meth."
Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's obviously the Political Spotlight. Brando's here, and I'm here. And as I think it was Joey who said, we are in 4-1 tonight. So I was talking to Brandon earlier, and I don't know what Brandon's going to do. He said, I don't know how long I'm going to stay on. If he's here for the whole time, great. If he's got to poke in and out, whatever, I'm fine for whatever. I'll take Brandon anytime I can get him, any way I can get him. So I'm fine with that. That's the reason we have to do this separately and not in an actual studio.
Gotta keep it rated PG.
Yeah, right. And what do you think? Everybody's been griping about the background, but I like this circle that looks like it connects us.
Oh, that thing? Yeah. Well, it's usually just you, though.
Yeah, right.
So
wait, we got a gas leak. What? Wait, what did you say?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're in studio for now. We might have to flee at some point in time.
Hold on here. Let me find my lighter to flick and become a hero to everyone.
My canary's been pretty quiet. I don't know.
Mike Jones is the canary, and he was chirping the whole time. So obviously there was a problem.
Oh, was he there today?
No, he was not. And some have said maybe that's why there was a gas leak. It might have been a murder attempt on my life.
So someone saw me on the building with a pipe wrench.
Right, he's unscrewing it.
Here's your kiss of death to her. Ah!
Yeah, Bilbrey's kiss of death to her.
Jesus.
Okay, so here's the deal. For those of you that do not know, hey, listen, if you know anybody in Delaware County, this is probably an episode for them to watch because I would say specifically because we're going to be talking about, I'm going to let Brandon, we're going to have some stuff, maybe, the Brandon's, your stuff that we were talking about earlier, you don't really want to talk about until we get the other thing in, right?
We can talk about the first part of it.
Okay. Yeah,
we led up to my call today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So we got some state stuff that we're going to talk about, but obviously we've got to talk about the Delaware County election. Yes, David Williams is no longer David Williams. He is a Bilbrey minion. How did you know?
I thought you were the same person.
Well, I know, isn't that strange? So I was so hoping that Mike Jones would have been there, so he would have seen we're kind of like the new Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
He's the short, fat one, and I'm the tall one.
Well, now he's got that plausible deniability. You're still Clark Kent and Superman to him. He's never seen you both in the same room.
Yeah, right. Because when David was in front of the camera, I was not. And when I was in front of the camera, David was not.
It was some impressive, like, quick change magic, though. Like, where you guys completely, like, changed appearances.
Yeah, right.
Just stepping off the camera.
Yep, I tell you. Well, that's what was happening when I went down the hall to change into my David Williams costume. I knocked the gas line loose, and all right. So we've got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, I do want to let everybody know I am back here in the studio, probably just for tonight. And so I got to give a real quick grandma update. She may or may not be watching. I don't know. So last night, everything's been going good with her at home, and all's been well, and grandpa's been happy. Everybody's been happy. She's been back at home. Everything's been going well. And then last night, she got a little sick. I don't know if it's the stomach virus that's been going around or whatever, but she just became very weak and very lethargic. Not like her at all, even through this issue. So we ended up taking her to Ball Hospital last night at about 11:30. We had a big day today, of course, but really couldn't do anything to like prepare for that as much as I wanted to. So good thing I was sharp in the mind as always, because we were at the hospital until like 5:30 this morning. So Grandpa and I went back home, got some rest. I slept for like 2 hours before the ordeal. We get there, and it was on like Donkey Kong. And here, you would have thought that Rick was the one that didn't sleep very well last night. That he was the one that was dealing with a whole bunch of family crisis and carrying on, but no, I was the one that was able to hold it together, and it was Rick who was kind of in the poopy mood. So I don't really know what his deal was, but we'll get into all of that. So
yes, when I chuckled during that, I wasn't chuckling at your grandma. I was chuckling at Joey Simpson calling him Rick the Dick.
I know, you're good.
A reference.
Yeah, right. I assumed your grandma had a viral issue. No, right. So no, she is doing well. She's at the hospital currently. They're gonna kind of get her back up on her feet and get her like some hydrated and all of that. Vitals are good. Everything's good with what's going on. So she's just taking care of getting things taken care of there, and then we'll know what to do and what happens from there forward. So we'll see what happens. So if everyone could, if you are so inclined, please continue saying a quick prayer for both her and my grandfather. I would greatly appreciate it. And now we can get on to the politics.
Well, we've been praying for him ever since you've...
Yes, right.
Ever since you've been at their house. I'm like, man.
Yes, right. They need the prayer because I've been there. Absolutely. It's here's the thing. I think what they were confused, there was quite a bit of bullshit in the air. Spangler was the gas leak, but it wasn't like a true gas leak. It was just bullshit that we were all listening to and subjected to. And I got to say this first and foremost. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a sound freak, okay? This is about a $500 microphone. We've got a soundboard and all this. Here are the microphones that you guys will be listening to transmissions from. Here's what hooks into the recording device. And here are the separate microphones that go out. There's two different microphones. One could be on me. One can be on the table. Everybody was freaking out at the beginning of that meeting, and I couldn't communicate. Everyone was like, the sound is crazy. Let me explain to you real quick. Imagine having two really highly intense, well-designed microphones in a broom closet with 50 people. And you would understand the insanity with what was happening. So please, please, if you are trying to watch tonight's this morning's meeting, and you're like, wait a minute, what's happening? The sound is horrible. Literally everybody said that. After we get done with tonight's show, I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit the beginning of that meeting out, so everyone just starts off with the meeting. Because when everyone's just sitting in there chatting, yeah, the sound is completely shit. But once the meeting starts and there's silence in the room and you've only got like the board talking and the people talking, once the audience is no longer talking, the microphones work like a charm. So there are people I know that have tuned into it and they're like, I can't watch this. It's crazy. Go back and watch the meeting. Just fast forward a little bit, man. David, I got a couple people wanted to know if Sherry and I were sharing the same seat, and it did seem like that. Listen, I've known Sherry Riggin for a long time. She knew my other grandmother, not the sick grandma, but my mom's mom, and I've got nothing against Sherry Riggin. I've got nothing against Sherry. I like Sherry as a human, and I'll be honest, I specifically have nothing against Brad Bookout. I don't know him as a man. Probably world-class husband, world-class father, probably the best friend you could have. I just don't think he's the candidate that I want to back for this. And that has nothing to do with anything. That aside, unfortunately, he fell in the line with everything going on with this, that unfortunately his paperwork needed challenging, and we'll get into that. But before we get into that, I want to give Brandon just a moment, because he said he might not be able to be here till the end. We'll start out real quick with Brandon's news, and then we'll get into the election stuff. So real quick, stay here, because we are going to get into the election stuff, and we've got a lot to talk about. But I want to give Brandon the floor to kind of talk about what he's been doing. And since he's been on here, we believe that 1338, JD's bill for the decorum, we believe it's dead, but we don't want to jump the gun until it's over. But I think right now it's off the table. So what have you been up to, Brandon?
Well, we don't want to jinx ourselves on that one, but as far as we know, on that one, first of all, looking at it, so the way the process goes, did you explain how this whole process goes and where that bill is at, or do you want me to review that?
You can review that real quick.
Essentially, every bill originates in either the House or the Senate. It'll be proposed, it'll go to a committee, or be assigned to a committee. The committee will then hear it. They'll then get a reading, they vote on it, and amend it, and then I think they read it again, right? And then they vote on it, and it will pass either the House or Senate. Then they have like a mid-break, and then all those bills go to the other side, and basically that process is repeated. It'll be assigned to, so the House bills will be assigned to a Senate committee. It'll get a hearing or it won't. It will get a reading. It'll get another reading. So the way HB 1338 went was it was assigned to committee. It went through everything in the House. It got approved in the House. After the break, it went over to the Senate side. On the Senate side, it got assigned to the committee on, what is that?
Courts and corrections?
Yeah, something like that. It was assigned to it.
Corrections and criminal law.
Oh, it is getting a hearing now.
Wait.
This is breaking news. It's the only one they're hearing on Tuesday, February 27th. Kate just ruined my night.
Hey! No, I was going to say I might be down there. It depends on what's going on with my grandmother. If my grandmother is still in some kind of care facility, either be at the hospital or some kind of other facility, then I will be able to go down there. If she's home, I probably won't. So, because I was going to go down there for the challenge period on the state, which is on the 27th at 10. So we'll play that by ear. But yeah, right. Happy birthday month, by the way.
Oh, I
Brando.
think
it's almost over. Enjoy it while it's here. So that's bullshit. They're going to hear it. So now this is pretty much stupid, because they're going to pass it and we're all screwed. So that's all that. I'm very pissed off now. I'm even more pissed off than I was beforehand. How can that be?
So the point is, continue to write those emails to the members of that committee, because they cannot pass it in committee if they want to do that. up till this point, it was the only one that was not heard in committee, and I don't know why they waited till probably the very last day they could do it, and it's the only bill they're hearing in that committee. So they're having a committee specifically to hear that bill. I don't know if JD threw a fit or a tantrum because it hadn't been heard or what happened.
Now, on the 22nd, they added 2 sponsors to the damn bill. So that was today. Yeah. They added 2 sponsors from the Senate to the bill, and that's why it's getting a hearing. I guess he went and sucked enough.
Who are the sponsors?
Yeah, the new ones. It was Rotz and Alexander.
Yeah, of course. And I'll have you know,
they've added Baldwin.
Okay, Baldwin. Oh yeah, okay.
Is that the only one they added?
Well, it says they removed Rotz.
Really?
Rotz was removed, and they added Baldwin as a sponsor. I only half-assed looked at it because I was like, hurry up and get to the committee and see if they're doing a hearing.
Interesting. I might try and reach out to Rotz tomorrow and figure out what happened. Did Rotz have a change of mind, a change of heart, a change of where he stood in the constitutional and unconstitutional world? That's interesting. I will have you know that I know that Brandon and Kate have been texting people. I know that other people have been texting and calling or emailing people. I was emailing some people, and I have called probably about, I want to say by now I have called and or left messages and or talked to the everybody on the committee. I've also talked to a lot of the other senators. I've talked to several. I would say I've talked to over, I would say at this point, I'm probably at half of the senators at least that I have somehow made communication with about this. And one of those being Scott Alexander. And Scott Alexander is, my senator, state senator here. And I text him directly. I have his direct cell phone number. And amazingly, I text him on Monday, February 19th. And I said, hey, Scott, what's happening with House Bill 1338? That's JD's wildly unconstitutional bill that for some reason you have signed on to. I don't understand why you would sponsor it. He wants to give town, city, and county councils and commissioners the ability to create their own rules. What's happening with this bill? This bill would allow them to possibly kick out people for speaking, possibly criminalize people for speaking. I think that this bill should die where it is at and never be heard again. I would like to hear back from you. And he has yet to respond to me. Go figure. I also can't get him to answer the phone either. So that's where we are with that.
Yeah, I've emailed him a few times and haven't gotten a response. So
oh, no way.
I've emailed everyone on that committee, and of course, nobody responds. You get that canned response. It's always exactly the same. It's like, your opinion is important to me. So important, you'll never hear from me again, and I'm going to ignore everything that you said.
Right.
That's how important it is.
However, if you live in my district, please vote. Oh, they're not up for election this year, so it'll be a while before we hear from them.
Yeah, Senate's hanging out for a while. They're just going to chill and new phone, who dis?
Yeah, right. So besides that, what else has been? What?
Well, let's go ahead and segue. I'm really curious to see if they have responded to our emails. Maybe I'll put in a public access request to see.
Okay.
Well, you can't do that in the state of Indiana, apparently.
Wait a minute. What?
So
hold on, back up, because I want to make sure everyone knows this, because this is something my grandfather talks about all the time. My grandpa's like, how do you get all this information? And I'm like, it's really easy. I put in a record request and I get public documents. And if there are emails between people, I send a record request and get Dan Ridenhour's emails. I get Sproul's emails. I get the commissioner's emails. And we've done that plenty of times. So you've been trying to get the emails from state representatives. Now, take it away.
Correct. So I emailed. The first thing I did was I noticed that some of the survey results for Matt Lehman, who's the House Majority Leader, I looked at a survey and I noticed the results were interesting. So I was like, well, let's look at the survey results for JD Prescott. Unfortunately, my representative, but hopefully not much longer. So I went to look, and they were not posted like everyone else's were, or most everyone else was. I guess I didn't look at everybody, so I'll be fair. So I go to look, they're not posted. So that's simple enough. I mean, it's just a survey result. They always post these. So I emailed JD and his legislative assistant, and I say, hey guys, could someone please post those or let me see those survey results? I'd be very interested. We're in the heat of legislative session. I'd like to know what those survey results look like. And if basically I want to know if he's voting in line with what his constituents are telling him, which I know he's not. I guess I just want to confirm that he wasn't. I get no response for several days. And I say, you know what? I'm going to do what Mr. Kristopher Bilbrey and many other Americans do. I'm going to put it in as a public access request, because when it's a public access request, you're basically legally bound to respond to it within a certain period of time. You can deny it, but you have to give a legal justification why, a reasoning why. But otherwise, you at least have to acknowledge. You can't just disregard and ignore people, which is what most of these representatives do, as we've seen now, as I've been emailing them. So shortly after I sent it in as a public access request, I'm going to try to find the email, sorry. I get a response from, what is her name? Hold on a second. Kristopher Bilbrey sent me 273 emails at one point in time, so I got to go through all these.
That asshole.
I know how to do this. Okay.
Exactly 273 emails do.
It was a lot of them. I've almost got this. So I get a response from Noelle Sykes. So now I've got the actual email. I'm good.
What did Miss Noelle Sykes have to say?
She says, so first of all, she goes, hi, Brandon. I am the chief counsel for the Indiana House of Representatives Republican Caucus. I'm responding to your request for public records. You requested the 2024 legislative survey results for District 33. Those results are on the caucus website. You can find it here. Please let me know if you have any questions. Well, I had checked that caucus website hours before when I submitted my request. Apparently, they decided to post it real quick and act like they're being transparent.
Ooh.
So I email her back and I say, thank you, Noelle. Not sure why JD or Braden couldn't have just sent that to me, and legal had to be involved, needs to be involved, but I appreciate your help nonetheless. To which she responds, because she didn't like that.
Wait, back up real quick. She's not an elected official, right? I mean, correct?
Correct. She's just
appointed
for the Republican caucus.
Yeah, so like when you email your elected official, you would like to hear back from your elected official. It's in the title representative, but instead of referring back to you and answering your question and being helpful and being a representative, they have their attorney message you.
Yeah, which is weird because it's not like I'm asking for something super secret or even difficult to get. It's just a matter of him or his assistant responding, oh, sorry, we haven't posted those yet. We'll have them up soon and they'll be on the page. Or, oh, here you go. Here they are. Like, it's very simple. It's a public document that always ends up posted on the page. Apparently, I need to remind them to do it or they won't do it, because this is the second time I've had to remind them that it's not posted. And then they immediately posted it and said, oh, it's on the page.
She didn't like your snark. What'd she send you back?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why legal needed to be involved, but I appreciate your help. She says, just to clarify, no like salutations, no like, dear Mr. Rudd. It's just to clarify, I respond to all Indiana access to public records requests as the chief counsel for our caucus. Since you made a public records request, I was the person to respond. Representative Prescott and his legal assistant respond to all other constituent emails and correspondences. Yeah, fucking right, was my response to that one. He doesn't respond to shit. He's a piece of garbage. So I forwarded that to you, and I just put, yeah, response to all constituents' emails, ... And I said, hi, Noelle. Thank you for the additional clarification. Since you are the one who handles public records requests, could you please let me know the process for requesting JD Prescott's emails through his IGA email account? I would ideally like to have all of them, but I'm not sure how to request such a thing. I'm also curious how one would go about requesting text or other emails that would qualify as public records. If you could let me know, I would appreciate it. And then I emailed again. When was this? The next day, because I hadn't heard back from her. I said, hi again. Just for further clarification, his personal email is jdprescott32@gmail.com, because I don't give a shit. And he has used it in an official capacity in the past, so I'd like copies of those as well. I thought of an additional question you may be able to help me with. Could you please let me know the company? Oh, she never answered this. Hold on. Could you please let me know the company that designs and sends out the quarterly mailers and surveys for the IGA? I'd also like to know how much is spent on those. To which she responds, good morning, Mr. Rudd. The Indiana Access to Public Records Act, Indiana Code 5-14-3, requires that the person requesting provide reasonable particularity when making the request. Fair enough. All emails isn't very particular.
Yeah, right.
Reasonable. So ideally, I like all of them, but how do I go about this? I can break it up for you. He says, the public access counselor and later the courts have determined that a request involving emails must include 1, an identified sender, 2, identified recipient, 3, a subject matter, and 4, a time frame of 6 months or less. Okay, here's the public access counselor advisory opinion that discusses the need for more specific information in the request, and she gives me a link. I would ask that you resubmit your request from yesterday and today and provide a more specific request so I can properly respond to it. Thank you. Okay, that all sounds fair and reasonable. She's letting me know how to request those emails, and I should be able to get those right if I follow her simple rules. So I respond, thank you, Noel. My question was actually more along the lines of whether I need to fill out a form. Oh, I typoed. A form, or if I can just request via email. I take your response to mean that I can just request via email, and per your direction, I will narrow the scope of my request. My first request is for email sent by J.D. Prescott to any third parties or received by any third parties from January 1st of 2021 to June 31st of 2021 that pertain to myself or my wife. So any emails including the name Rudd. I will follow up with additional requests in future emails. Please and thank you, Brandon Rudd. Then on my birthday, 2 days later, how dare she?
How dare she?
Birthday, she says, Mr. Rudd, please find my attached records request response. Boy, these are going to be some interesting emails, wouldn't you say? So attached is a PDF on the Indiana House of Representatives letterhead with her name, Noel Sykes, Chief Counsel, her email, phone number, date February 7th, 2024. Brandon Rudd at brandonrudd@gmail.com, which isn't a real email address. Dear Mr. Rudd, this letter is in reply to your February 5th, 2024 email to me regarding a public records request. As Chief Counsel for the Indiana House Republican Caucus, I respond to requests for public records and pursuant to Indiana Code 5-14-3, I am responding to your request. In your email, you requested, and then she put in quotes exactly what I requested. I just read to you, so I'm not going to read that. Any records responsive to your request are classified as work product, in quotes. Under House internal procedural rules, in quotes, rules, again.
Notice she didn't say law.
Correct. Indiana Code 5-14-3-4B14 specifically exempts the work product of individual members and partisan staff of the General Assembly from a person's right to inspect and copy public agency records or recordings. The individual communications between legislators and constituents, staff, other legislators, the fucking custodians, anyone else are considered legislative work product under Indiana Code 5-14-3-4B14 and the rules. It is also tradition to treat all correspondence as confidential. This encourages constituents and anyone else to communicate all necessary information to their legislative representative without fearing that the information, which is often personal and private, could be released to an outside party. Interesting. Now knowing that they're confidential, I just send them a really crappy email, and I don't want to see it posted online because the rules say that it's confidential. So I can say whatever I want in communication with my representative, and it's confidential per the rules that they have set forth. So I can tell him that his mother this or that, and he better not be speaking that out, or I'm going to press charges. I'm going to file a complaint with the general counsel that he's not following the same rules that for some reason I have to abide by. Anyways, She says the Indiana Supreme Court has held on 3 separate occasions that the legislative branch has the constitutional authority to decide its procedural rules regarding record requests. In Masaru versus the Marion Superior Court number 1, the Indiana Supreme Court determined that it would not intervene in the internal affairs of the legislative branch of government, leaving it to the General Assembly to determine its own procedural rules relating to the release of records. Then, in Berry versus Crawford, the Indiana Supreme Court held that for courts to get involved in such a legislative function would amount to constitutionally impermissible judicial interference with the internal operations of the legislative branch. Finally, in Citizens Action Coalition of Indiana versus Koch, the Indiana Supreme Court confirmed that interfering with the legislature's internal decision-making process regarding the records would require invasion into a core function of the legislative branch, which the court declined to do. As a result, although the caucus releases records when required by law, which is apparently never, if the records requested are classified as work product under the rules, the caucus is not required to release those records. The caucus appreciates your request and your interest in the Indiana General Assembly. Sincerely, smiley face, hearts, Noel Sykes, Chief Counsel, House Republican Caucus. So what that amounts to is she's saying that basically the Supreme Court says it's bullshit, but they're the judicial branch and they're not going to step on the legislative branch. So they're not going to intervene, but it's kind of bullshit. So there's nothing we can really do about it. I forwarded this. Well, first of all, I responded. Just to clarify, Ms. Sykes, what I'm taking from the attached letter is that all legislator emails are exempt from public access requests. Is there not a protocol in which you can just censor the personal identifying information of constituents? And I copied in Luke Britt, Public Access Counselor. I said, Mr. Britt, do you agree with the position that legislators are exempt from transparency and public access laws in regard to emails sent received on their government accounts? To which Luke Britt responds, Mr. Rudd, the Indiana... God, I'm doing really well at this.
Yeah, you are.
The Indiana Supreme Court held in 2016 that while the General Assembly is subject to the Access to Public Records Act, they consider the matter non-justiciable as to what qualifies as legislative work product under the statute. That case involved constituent emails withheld by a legislator. I am required by the rules of professional responsibility to abide by that binding case law. Therefore, it matters not what my opinion is on the issue. It is settled, and my official position must be in lockstep with that holding. Even still, I encourage individual legislators to be as transparent as possible to the extent practicable. God, this was a fun birthday email little thing I have going. So basically what's happening is it's a bunch of bullshit. I think Luke Britt has spoken out against this, that he thinks it's kind of bullshit. But the fact of the matter is that apparently they can make their own rules. They are going to call any email work product, and they are now exempt from any public access requests.
That is such a load of crap.
In regard to emails, at least. I haven't tried anything else. I'm getting ready to.
Yeah.
I talked to Luke Britt today. I asked him if what I'm about to request, they have to provide. He's like, yes. And I said, well, can I copy you if they try to deny me? He said, I don't think they're going to try to deny you, but you can, and I can give an opinion and all that if you want. But basically, what he said is essentially our Congress, the federal Congress, Senate, they are completely exempt from those kinds of requests. The Indiana General Assembly would like to be. They tried to be up until 2016 when it went to the Supreme Court, and they're like, no, you can't just say that. You can't just say that you're not going to release those. So they kind of made up these rules where they say, well, it's work product. And they kind of changed it up a little bit. So now basically they don't have to release those anymore. So basically your state legislators are exempt from public access. If they're doing something shady and you're trying to get a public access request, which was what I was trying to find, they don't have to provide it. They can say it's work product and you don't get it.
What complete garbage.
So I sent a follow-up. Boy, this was fun. Boy, I was on a roll, wasn't I? So I sent a follow-up. I said, okay, I can't have that. And so I said, hey, hi, Noel. Below, I'm submitting a request for records. So this is my second request I made. And I used basically your format. And I said, I'm requesting an opportunity to inspect or obtain copies of emails between Representative J.D. Prescott and his then legislative assistant, Dolan Monroe, between June 1st and August 31st, 2021, as well as between June 1st and August 31st of 2022. I'm interested in copies of emails discussing the Prescott family picnic or the picnic. I'm not requesting any emails to or from constituents, and I do not believe the discussion of a campaign fundraiser via an official government email account would qualify as work product. The Indian Access to Public Access request requires a response, blah, blah, blah. So I send her all this, like your same format. She sends me back. She waits an entire week. She waits till the last minute.
Yeah.
She has 7 days to respond. The very last minute, she goes, here, see the attached response. To which she sends the exact same thing she sent me previously. That apparently them doing campaigning, illegally using their legislative assistance for campaign work is the work product of the Indiana General Assembly.
Work product. That's gross.
So illegal activity is apparently a work product of the Indiana General Assembly, and we can't see it.
There's no oversight on this. There is no oversight on possible illegal activity.
So I specifically asked Luke Brett, I said, hey, if I have a JD has admitted in writing in on video that he has done stuff like that. Like he said, hey, I used a government-funded attorney for my campaign page stuff. That, to me, is at very least unethical. I believe it's illegal. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but it's something that shouldn't be done. I said, so if I have suspicions and I'm trying to get evidence on this illegal activity, what do I do? His response to me was, vote against him, campaign against him, run against him. I said, so there's no recourse for that? And he's like, I mean, he wasn't giving me legal advice. I need to be clear because I'm not trying to get him in trouble. He was very clear he's like, I'm not giving you legal advice on that. He's like, those are some solutions you could do. But he wasn't giving me legal advice. But as far as I know, he wasn't giving me any. Basically, he was telling me there's no legal way for me to get those records. So if you suspect that your representative is doing illegal activity and you want to check it out, there's no transparency. Like you said, there's no accountability.
So, I mean, so is there something that you have going on now? I mean, are you currently working something to try to get past this now, or are we at a roadblock?
I'm at a roadblock on what I was looking for on that one. I'm working on something else. I'm going to submit a request. I meant to do it before this, but I had this joke, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. I was going to submit it before, but I was at the gym. I've been going to the gym so much, I'm going to have to run to become a representative or a senator, because with this new law, it's the only way I'm going to get these guns into the state house.
God.
Thank you for the pity laugh. But I am working on something that if it's what I think, if it's confirmed, it's going to be pretty big. And I've already talked to you about submitting it to Rob Kendall. I'll probably be sending it to news stations.
Yeah.
My next request, I hope she's not watching this because she's going to call it work product. But Brett told me they basically have to give it to me. And if I get it, along with the other records I have, combined is going to be pretty big. It could be pretty big.
Sounds like Mrs. Rudd might need to be watching out. You and old Noel or whatever has got some kind of email thing going on.
Oh, dude, that woman hates me. I can feel the venom through the email. That's always fun when you can feel it through like just plain text.
These people are gross.
Someone's voice, but man,
yeah. To get it in text and to know, because sometimes it's like, all right, text. I don't know how to read into this, but sometimes you can just tell, and it's like, okay, you know. I love it. Well, definitely
for the idiots out there, I'm not trying to bring guns into the state house. That was a joke. You idiots who don't understand parody.
You just flashed a gun at a child out there in the world.
Exactly.
In all fairness, I don't like that guy, but I don't think what he did was brandishing a firearm, by the way. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
When Jim Lucas pulled his coat to the side and said, I got a gun. And he was talking to like some students. Probably a dumb thing to do, but that's not brandishing a firearm. It was on his body, and all he did was pull his jacket to the side.
Wait, who was mad about that? Did the news talk about it?
Everybody. The news talked about it. Kids talked about it. Parents talked about it.
Why don't we talk about JD brandishing a firearm towards all those teachers in that meeting?
Yeah, right. Holy crap. Right.
He did the same thing or worse. Like he stood up and like made a big display of that he had a gun before.
Yes, on backwards. And listen, that idiot, if he would have actually had bullets in that gun, could have killed us all, because like he was not properly, wearing it. Dude, who knows what would have happened?
Dude, the way how incompetent that idiot is with a gun, he'd probably shoot himself before he shot anyone
Loaded
else.
the bullets backwards.
I got that. Makes the gun shoot backwards.
I got this. Yeah, right. I got this bullets in the clip.
Oh my god, dude.
Woo!
He's got me on a roll today.
Alva asked a question here real quick before we move on. Since she's not an elected official, I'm assuming not appointed, she's like hired. I don't know how that would be. She's definitely not an elected official, but he's saying, what's the cost to the taxpayers for her? And what I would assume is her and or her firm have a contract with them, and they get paid like a set, like any other municipal attorney. They have a paid contract that they get a paid amount. And then if they do something outside of that scope, they would be allowed to send billable hours. That's what I'm assuming. That's how city attorneys are paid and county attorneys are paid. They've got a contract with the municipality or whatever, and they get paid, $60,000, $20,000, $130,000, whatever it is. They get paid.
Last year it was $120,495.21.
Okay. So yeah, see right there. Look how easy. So, and then if they do something outside of that scope, they could send in billable hours. So that's what I think. And in fairness, attorneys normally will get involved in the record request process, but generally what they are doing is they are working with the elected official to tell them what's good or good not, and then the official's doing the response back. So there's no real reason why this lady should be doing this other than JD simply doesn't want to.
Yeah, basically.
So we'll definitely keep us
give me
up.
the survey.
Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, she did one thing. Well, good. She's worth all that money. So yeah, you'll have to keep us posted there. I've loved all of these emails, and definitely always copy me or forward them along because I love it. I've been like sitting at my grandparents' house a couple times and just like been snickering as you've sent these emails, and I've loved every minute of it. So
in all fairness, I was a little snarky with my first response. I'm not sure why we need legal counsel if JD can't just answer a freaking
right. Yeah, right.
But she has to know he's an idiot too. I mean, it's not like it's a surprise to her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh no, right. So, okay, well, he's going to keep us up with that, and we will hopefully have some information that might be big here soon-ish. We'll let you guys know. But I hope that like simmered you and you guys were like a little pissed off with everything that you were hearing. Now we're going to be preparing to melt your face off with absolute, just complete ignorance and anger. So as all of you know, most of you know, a lot of you know, today was the Delaware County Election Board meeting. This was the first election board meeting of any of the local East Central Indiana or state election challenges. And I want to go on the record real quick and say for everybody that is listening, one last time, I do not like the challenge process being used as a tool to remove candidates. I like when candidates are allowed to run. I like when we have choice, and I'm perfectly in line with that. A couple people messaged me and they were like, what do you think about Amber's going live and coming out against the challenges? Woo! I'm like, I agree with her. I agree with Amber. Call and ask Amber yourself. She's not specifically talking about these challenges, but neither am I. But at the same time, she is, because it is all bullshit, and so am I. The whole process in this way is a bullshit process. However, they are not setting a standard. So someone has to be willing to test the line to find out what the standard is. And I am happy to admit, I think that we are close, and it's going to be very interesting. But I want to be real clear again on the record. I want people to be able to run. I don't want to kick people off, and that's not the point. The point is to find out where the line is, because if you don't know where the line is, you don't know, where to stay away from, how close you can get, what not to cross. And I think it's ridiculous that we were at a table where there were 1, 2, 3, 4 men sitting at the table, and 3 of the 4 were attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
3 of those 4 people were attorneys, and they were struggling with the law and acting so ignorant. And I'm just little old me. And here's the thing: to steal a line from a really bad guy, he's a pedophile. I'm fine with it. However, sometimes people can say things that aren't necessarily so bad. I'm not an attorney, but I can read. Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, I do feel like I probably even read better than the gentleman who said that quote. So I feel
act like they hadn't seen your challenge before.
Who?
You know what I mean? Wouldn't you think they'd be a little prepared as well?
Well, that was the weirdest way to start a challenge. Normally they read it off and say what's happening. So that's how today's challenges. It's like they sat down and they were like, okay, tell us why we're here. And it's like, wait, what? Tell us why we're here. That is insane. So, okay, I want to share something here and share this with you. And we're going to make this go in very easy. Man, it's so amazing doing this from the house. I love Kate. Kate does great work, and she does wonderful stuff, and she's already done a great stuff to help us even tonight. But being able to go, like, for me to pull up right what we're looking at, it's so amazing how it just is so much better.
Can I tell them? Can I tell them what I said to you yesterday before? Oh no, was that this morning? Oh, that was this morning.
Yeah, tell them away.
Before I messaged it to you, I said we're about to see the true characters of these people. Do they have integrity, or are they scumbags? That was kind of the bar set. Like, are you guys going to hold true to all the things that you said and follow through with principles, or are you guys just trying to be self-interested and help yourselves and your buddies?
Yeah, right. That's what the question is. Is this something that is this really a situation where it's rules for thee and not for me? Or are we honestly going to, do we have some kind of like serious, decorum? So first and foremost, I want to say, for the record, again, I want to tell everybody that I'm going to cut the first part of this out because it's just room talk. The audio is bad, but go back and watch this meeting because the meeting's good. And what I want you guys to note is how many people are in this room. We should be in the commissioner's room. We're not. Okay, this room fills up fast. And what's really amazing to me is that Dave Williams is like, was Sherry sitting in your lap? I'm like, no, dude, you were. Didn't you just see Dave here? Let's look at Dave. Hello, Dave. You, and Dave walks in and sits right in front of the camera. Okay, so that was mighty special. Okay, so I just want to let everybody know there was a large contingency of county employees here. Okay, look, we've got Sherry, we've got Auditor Ed. Next to him, we've got the newspaper. Next to him, we've got Amber Green. We've got everybody's favorite radio buddy. And then next to the radio buddy, we've got Sherry's campaign manager, Andrew Pop, down there. Oh, no, sorry. He's Troy's campaign manager. All right, hold on. All right, then we move around the room, and we've got Rick walking here. We've got Pete Drum sitting here, and we've got Joe Hunter. Then over in the corner, we have Bradley Bookout and a couple of his best buddies, and Bill Walters, Josh Tolby from the auditor's office is sitting over here. We've got Ed Canancer. We've got Stephen Brand. James King walks into the room.
Look at that Brand beard. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it nice? We've got all...
actually.
Yes. This gentleman right here, which I thought he was actually holding hands with Pam McCammon, but it's not. This is Chad. Like yeah, it does, right? It's Chad Malacote. He's from Henry County. He's Ed Carroll's partner in crime and whatever else, all the fun wickedness that they have and they get up to. Apparently, they're wanting him to be some kind of grant writer in Delaware County, and I want him to take his dumbass back down to Henry County and stay out of my county. So there you go, Chad Malacote. If you are any confused on where you and I stand, head on back down to Henry County and stay there until we beat you down there as well in the election.
Hacky sack with Sproles.
Yeah, right. Yes. Go get a beanbag and play some hacky sack with Sproles. We can go all night, Chad. So then we've got Pam McCammon. She's the HR lady. And then what?
Joey Simpson's always on, man.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I love Joey. So, all right, we go on from here. We go around. We're going to get ready to start the meeting here.
So we got commissioners over here.
Now, I want to tell you, there's some kind of confusion, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So the election board for the past many years, since at least 2019, I guess, rather, 2019. Since 2019, the election board has been Republican Representative Pete Drum, Democrat Representative Ashley Nichols, and then the clerk, Rick Spangler. Those are your three election board members. All right. Today, I have to find out what is serious or what is. Yeah, Brandon, you did really good with that. I just called the private chat. Huh?
You say Dick Dangler?
Dick Dangler. Yeah, I think I might have. Yeah. That's good. Dick Dangler. He's the clerk. Lots of county employees on the clock, wasting taxpayer dollars. Not a good sight, specifically when the auditor's office is in a big mess. Right now, I'm hearing that they're they're not paying the bills. They're not credit cards getting shut off. I'm hearing all kinds of crazy things. I'm hearing that just as recently as this week, we've got several county employees that have not had federal taxes taken out for the entire year of 2023. We're now finding that there are employees that haven't had anything taken out since 2024 has started. And there's a lot of chaos going on from the auditor's office, and they are doing everything they can do to try to fly this under the radar and try to not do anything with this. And I'll tell you, the problem is Ed is politicking more than he's doing the job of the auditor. He's playing party chairman from his cushy auditor's office instead of doing the county's work. And that's why we have county employees who haven't had federal taxes taken out. And we have had people can't use the credit card because the bills aren't getting paid. All kinds of insanity is going on because Ed Carroll is the auditor. Ed Carroll's the party chairman, and Ed Carroll is just an idiot. So that's where we stand, okay? I don't know how else to say it. All right? So that's that. Okay. Now we're going to start this meeting. And the other big shakeup was today when we came in, they stated that here's what I heard. And I cannot confirm or deny this. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. They announced that today Ashley Nichols resigned and they were trying to scramble to appoint someone to the Democrat side. Now, I don't know why they needed to scramble to do that because Anna Quirk, the Democrat Party chair, she simply could have done it. The chairmen have the ability. The election board could be Ed Carroll, Anna Quirk, and Rick Spangler. Now, he's challenged, so he wouldn't, in more ways than one. Ed is challenged on today's ballot, so I don't think he could have sat in today. But I'm just telling you, the party chair can do it. So I don't know why all the hubbub, but I'm going to find out why Ashley resigned or quit, and I'm going to find out when she quit because I want to know, was this on her terms? Was it on their terms? Because Ashley has let them know in past meetings she didn't like how they were doing things. Okay, there's been a lot of things I've not agreed with Ashley on. But I have agreed that when she said, what you guys are doing is going to come back to bite you. Those are my words. She didn't exactly say that. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the point she was getting at. That's the intent of the law versus the spirit of the law. All right. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact wording that she used, but the intent of what she was saying is the shit you guys are doing now is going to come back to bite you. All right. So that's I don't know why.
Timing.
Yeah. Yeah. So today, the election board was made up of newly appointed Joe Hunter, an attorney, Democrat, Pete Drum, an attorney, Republican, and Rick Spangler, who's supposed to be an unbiased board and professional. All right, you guys can decide if that's what happened. So they got that started. Let's get the meeting.
I am the president.
Back there.
Oh, yeah. Well, here sets down a man who is absolutely struggling today. I was worried for our, before even the gas leak, I was worried that we were having some kind of an emergent situation because I thought he was going to fall out on the floor, to be perfectly honest. What?
There's your canary.
Yeah, right? Maybe that's true. So here we go.
Of the election board. And we have first a new member of the election board that.
Okay, I've already announced all that.
I've read the minutes.
They deal with the minutes from last meeting, and then they get ready to start.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear, sir, to tell the whole truth and nothing?
Do you swear? Did he say, do you swear, turd, to tell the whole truth? Let's go back and listen.
Mr. Williams, you raise your right hand. Do you swear, sir, to tell the whole truth?
Oh, he says star.
Okay, yeah, I thought he said, do you swear, turd, to tell the whole truth?
It sounded kind of like it.
Nothing but
star was kind of weird.
Yeah, right.
Does Joe Hunter wear toupee?
Who?
Joe Hunter, is that his name? Who's the attorney? Yeah. What's his name?
Over here?
A weird toupee.
This guy?
No, the guy next to him on the right.
Oh, no, this is Powder. I mean, this is, what's his name? Don McClellan. And I don't think it's a toupee. It's been the same hair he's had for the last 40 years, so I think it's real. It could be a toupee. I don't know.
Sounds like a toupee.
It's very strange. I don't know. I was more worried about his like breathing and his respirations and his heart rate and everything. I didn't really pay attention to his hair. When they're swearing us in, I want to be like, you swear too, sir. That's in a movie. I forget which movie, but that's what I want to say to them. Like, I want to hear you guys swear under oath because you guys open your mouths and you talk, and I don't know that I can trust that you're doing this under oath as well. All right, here we go.
So this is you as Dave Williams.
David, I have your...
What?
So this is you as Dave Williams up first.
This is me in this outfit here. I've got the hat on and the coat on, so it kind of hides my true identity. But here's me under the name David Williams.
Actually, 2 filings from you. Would you like to tell this board who you're challenging and why you're challenging them?
First, I'm challenging.
That's such a weird ass opening. I've never heard a meeting like this. Would you like to tell us what we're doing here? We don't know.
Bradley T. Bookout. For improper
Just make
notary.
shit up. If they're gonna let you do it, you should
Yeah.
just make shit up.
Yes. Yes.
To form.
I'm challenging Bradley Bookout because he's an admitted Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, right? It's like, what? Why don't you guys tell us what we're doing here? Like,
yeah, I'm challenging Ed Carroll because I just saw him loosening up a gas pipe in the next room.
okay. So he just read the Bookout challenge. Now
Sorry.
listen very carefully to what happens here.
And also challenging Ed Carroll Jr. for his improper county. Blank left off. There's no name for his county. And the CAN 37.
Okay. And I don't know where we start at with this, but
I don't know what I'm doing.
start at the beginning. Okay.
I don't know where we start at with this. Why is Rick every time Rick's in one of these meetings, he acts like it's the first time he's ever been in one of these meetings? I don't understand. So listen to what he says here very carefully.
On your paperwork, you filed these complaints as a candidate who submitted a petition of nomination under IC 3-8-6. Can I see your petition?
Can I see? Why don't he just get to his point rather than play? Hey, Rick, and anyone out there listening to Rick, when you go back to tell him this, or if you're watching yourself, you're not smart enough to play Rick Spangler. Please stop playing Columbo too. Why don't you just say what your issue is rather than leaning back in your chair, all cocky? Can I see your petition, sir? Well, let me ask you, all right? Let me show you so we all see what we're talking about. Here is Dave's paperwork, all right? Up here.
Why don't they already have copies of it?
They do. They don't have his petition. That's what he's saying. So let me explain this here. This is very easy. So on the CAN1, David has put his name up here. And then in this, yes, is this nursing home gathering time? That's hilarious. I'm going to pull up the Indiana CAN1 here and show you the actual document as we go along. So what you're looking at right now here, ladies and gentlemen, is actually David Williams' paperwork. Okay. Now, what he's done is he has put David Williams. Okay. I state your name. And I'm going to jump over to here real quick and show you. Share this tab. Okay. This will be real easy. This is the CAN1 challenge form. Let me take this off. Okay. Here is the challenge form. All right. And so he put in Delaware County up here. Delaware County. All right. He put in David Williams.
I knew you're the same person.
It's right. Okay. Now, when I filed my paperwork, I checked this box. I am a registered voter in my precinct 61, township. I put my township. Okay. I put city of Muncie and I put Delaware County. Okay. I put Delaware County over in here. All right. Then I drew a line through this because I'm not a county chairman. And this says a candidate who submitted a petition of nomination under 3686. This did not apply to me either. So I drew a line through that. And then I put my residence down here and I filled out the rest of the complaint. What David did was fill all of this out. He filled out, instead of filling this out, he left this blank. Okay. He left this blank. He left this blank. He did not check this, and he left this blank. Okay. He then came down here and he marked a candidate who submitted a petition of nomination. So he, like a lot of other people, thought, I'm a candidate on the ballot. I'm a candidate for this office. This must be what I put. I don't discredit him, because a lot of people have done that. All right. So many people have done it that I'm able to, what?
Because it does. It says I am check one box. So
Yeah.
he checked the one box.
Yeah, right. Okay, but
that's wrong.
Well, they're saying that he is not a candidate. If you look up, he's not a candidate he didn't do Indiana Code 386. He is a candidate for office. He is not a candidate that submitted petition of nomination. But okay, so what they did is they kicked him off. They did not listen to his challenge. Let me show you this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the challenge paperwork of Mr. Dwayne Richmond. All right. Now, this man, I will have you know, this man is Rick. This man, Dwayne Richmond, this is the definition of a minion, of a stooge. He did what the party wanted him to do, and he filled out this paperwork, and it says check one box, but he didn't check one box. He checked the registered voter box, and he checked the candidate who submitted a petition of nomination. And then he filed a complaint against Brandy Webb. Okay. All right. So when he went up to bat, why didn't the people there say, there's your petition for nomination? We don't use petition for nominations. All right. Let me show you candidate box number 2. Oh, here's David Hall, another minion of the Republican Party. Look what this fool did. He checked the box that he is a candidate who submitted a petition of nomination, and he challenged Charles Russell Leonard. Okay. No one said, where is your petition of nomination? We don't use those. Okay.
Oh, but they threw those out, right?
Well, yeah, wait, yeah, right. Well, I'll show you what happened. That's a good point. Remember, Brandon, he just said they threw these out, right? Surely they must have. Oh, here's Dwayne Richmond again. This is really minion type activity, because he also challenged Troy Allen Ingram. And what did he do? He checked that he was a candidate who submitted a petition of nomination, and no one said, where's your petition of nomination? All right. So what happened is they checked this. David checked it. David checked it. They checked it. David checked it. Dwayne checked it. Dwayne checked this one. David Hall checked this one. Okay. David Williams got threw out. His challenge wasn't even heard. Dwayne Richmond's challenge was heard. David Hall's challenge was heard. And Richmond's other challenge was heard. Now, if you give me just 1 second and you please permit me, I can actually let you hear for 1 second. I can let you hear, because what's really important with this is this following information. Now, last year we did not have the really cool audio that we have this time, so the audio was very choppy. So please bear with me, but I want to let you guys hear this.
It'll be cool listening to them turn these down. So let's see.
While the challenge did not complete the challenge paperwork properly. On the CAN1.
Listen to what Brandy Webb says here. Here it goes.
That chair over the middle. I've been challenged for improper. My name is Brandy Webb, and I am a candidate for Muncie City Council District 4. It recently came to my attention that my candidacy had been challenged for improper or incomplete CAN-42 document. I'm asking the members of the election board to dismiss that challenge.
I am asking the members of the election board to dismiss the challenge
To my candidacy for the following reasons. The citizen Dwayne Richmond, who filed the challenge, did not complete the challenge paperwork properly.
The citizen Dwayne Richmond, who filed the challenge, did not complete the paperwork properly.
On the CAN1 document issuing the challenge, this individual selected that he was a citizen of District 4 making the challenge. In addition to that selection, he also selected that he was a candidate for the District 4 making the challenge against me. Mr. Richmond did not, is not a candidate of this race in the upcoming primary election, and thus this paperwork on the CAN1 document issuing the challenge against me is both incomplete and improper, rendering his challenge against me invalid. The citizen Dwayne Richmond is challenging the legitimacy of my filing documents CAN-42 for no other reason other than the fact that the Delaware County Clerk failed to properly execute responsibilities when filing the paperwork. Specifically, she failed to document the date, and more importantly, she failed to initiate the notary process of imprinting the documents with the notary seal and stamp. She did stamp the document, however, she failed to imprint the notary seal. When asking about that, not being done, she said that everything was completed and that the candidate forms were valid and filed. I find it difficult to accept being penalized when I did everything proper that was in my control. The deputy clerk's failure to properly do her job after submitting my candidacy filing documents is something that I should not be penalized for. It was not something that the voters of Muncie should be penalized for as well. Due to the fact that the challenge of the incomplete CAN-42 document was the fault of the deputy clerk and not my fault, as a candidate, I would like to submit the following Indiana IC code for the situations like this, and again ask that the board reject the challenge of my candidacy and allow me to remain on the 2023 primary ballot. Section 1.1, subject IC 3-8-1-1. Point 1, a candidate filing error is made by the election division or a circuit court clerk. The error does not invalidate the filing. My final objection is that there has to be a precedent set from last year during the election board meeting last year in 2022 to hear challenges to various candidates for various reasons. There was an individual with a similar situation. In her case, the employee in the clerk's office made a mistake completing her portion of the candidate's filing paperwork.
So she also brought up, remember that, she also brought up last year to this year, the standard. This is what the people of Delaware County and elsewhere in Indiana are demanding. All right, listen.
We decided that because it was the fault of the county clerk employee and not the fault of the candidate, that the candidate was permitted to remain on the ballot and the challenge was rejected. A citizen, as a citizen of this wonderful community, I am eager to serve and I will do my best. I am pleading with you to do the right thing as well. And all the legal opinions cited on IC 3-8-1-1.1 to reject this challenge and allow me to remain on the 2023 primary ballot. I do have some additional things to present to the board. If you guys would allow for another person to present that. Okay. Well, I'll move forward with that. I reached out to the Indiana election, speaking with others.
Skip forward to where they
To
vote.
perform a device that clerk, I passed the statute. And it's absolutely what we found out. Talking to Brad King.
Seals because this is, I think that's what wrote Brad King and what he's on.
Well, all right. So here's the deal. FYI, for your information, they did not reject the candidate and they went ahead with the challenge process and heard all of this out. So it didn't matter that Dwayne Richmond checked the wrong box. Now, let's move on back to here and listen to what happens in this meeting and tell me if it's the same thing. Tell me what you hear in this meeting.
For the offices you run for, we don't. Your complaint should have been filed as a registered voter. Petitions are used for governor, you use petitions for school board and other state offices. But you have filed improper paperwork to take people off the ballot for improper.
Isn't that funny, Rick, how that works? When other people say you filed improper paperwork to kick people off the ballot for improper paperwork, your election board, sir, doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But that's because Brandy Webb isn't Ed Carroll. Brandy Webb isn't Bradley Bookout.
So here's the thing. Your new microphone sucks because I could not hear when Ed Carroll jumped up and said, wait. I told you guys last year and the same thing this year. You guys need to be consistent with the law. He should be heard. And you can't hear that on the microphones. There is something definitely wrong with your microphone.
You know, and I'm sitting one person down, and maybe it was because last night was a long night and I might have dozed off, but I just missed where Ed said that too. So I correct the record here in a little bit, and I reiterate Ed's words for him because I didn't hear it either, but I wanted to make sure that his words were noticed. So I'm glad you brought that up. All right, here we go on.
So unless we want to discuss this farther, I would like to put a motion into our chairman that we deny both challenges due to improper paper.
Look how excited Rick is. I mean, Rick is felt like he's done something. Boy, I feel like I've done something.
Oh man, Ed Carroll's gonna pat me on top of the head. I get so good.
I would second that. Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. Does our attorney have anything he wants to say?
No, I think that's the key issue. First, as a favorable thing.
Okay,
Oh, I'm glad he had that to say.
all right,
That was insightful.
then let's take a vote.
Listen, Rick, and I want to tell you here because I think this is the problem. I think that you think that I'm a rude bastard. And let me tell you why that is. Because I'm sick of dealing with your stupid bullshit. So yeah, I'm rude. I'm not happy. I'm not a good guy. Don't like me. Don't sit next to me in church. Question whether I even go to church. Cross the street when I walk by. Hate me all you want, but follow the damn law. I'm not wanting to be your friend. I wouldn't be friends with people that are so blindly hypocritical and blindly ignorant. All right. So yeah, we don't get along. We don't like each other. I don't care if you detest me. The test is equally measured out from my end towards you. We're cool. We can hate each other if you want. I don't like doing that. You and I have always got along. But what I'm disgusted with is the fact that you've made this some kind of you made this personal. I did not. I'm asking you to follow the damn law.
Okay. On the motion,
You understand, sitting on the merits.
You understand this isn't on the merits. It's not the merits. So I think what Donnie just said there was maybe the merits are actually good. Maybe Ed should have been thrown off. Yeah, we understand it's not on the merits. We understand nobody's on their merits here. Nobody does the right thing. There's nobody doing an ethical thing here. I applaud David Williams. I'm sorry that paperwork was wrong. We talked about this. I should have pushed him harder to change it. I didn't. Not a big deal. It just goes to show I'm actually happy that this happened because it shows that they are hypocritical turds. And I'm so happy that this happened, actually, because David Williams got a point to show the people of Delaware County should elect David Williams because he just showed that these people are hypocritical turds, and more power to David Williams for this. I think it's beautiful. All right, here we go.
How many of these people were here last year? Was it just on the board? Because Ashley Nichols obviously is in there. So Spangler was there. Was Drum there? Or did he have someone
Spangler
sitting in?
wasn't there. Spangler amazingly went on vacation during one of the most important meetings of his thing, but he
That's right.
followed along with what was going on. Another attorney filled in for him, and that was Brandon Murphy. But you know, Rick knew everything that was going on. Rick orchestrated everything that was going on. Rick was there in 2022. Rick was there in 2020, and Rick was there in 2019. I'll put it to you this way. I think that he has, as clerk, he has failed in his duty as a member of the election board. This is a way that he has failed Delaware County. He's done a shitful job in this aspect. And so, you know, that's that.
Yay. Mr. Drum,
Yes.
Mr. Spangler, yes. Those two challenges have been denied.
Okay. Thank you.
Next challenger is Mr. Bilbrey.
He took that pretty well. I would have said something snarky on the way out.
Yeah, he did. He did well.
Yeah, he did very well. I would have been like, yeah, well, that's some bullshit.
Morning.
I walked out.
Mr. Bilbert, can you raise your right hand, please?
I
You
can't.
solemnly swear that you will tell us
Yes.
the truth,
You'll come down
the
here and do it
truth,
for me.
nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, sir, I do. Thank you.
I'm just
Mr.
too
Bilbrey,
excited.
if
Right.
you wouldn't mind, let's start with the Bookout challenge.
All right.
Would you want to be-
Look how well prepared this gentleman is.
That was for the notary signature.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah,
amazing?
okay.
I also gave a copy of this packet to the newspaper as well.
Go ahead.
I'm starting? Okay. Well, I'm glad that we started this meeting off talking about the importance of filing proper paperwork.
All right, because I thought, hell, all right. They didn't like David's paperwork was improper and they booted him out. So this was going to be a cakewalk. All right. So I said, I'm glad we started off with the importance of proper paperwork.
So before we get started, I want to read the statement.
I didn't really think
As
about
a
that.
community, we are faced.
Yeah, right.
It's like you guys just threw away paperwork because it wasn't properly filled out. Okay, here's paperwork that's not properly filled out.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So what I did is I wanted to bring to their attention something that I felt was very important. Okay. And so what we did was I started off because I, like Brandon, did not hear Mr. Carroll's words, which I held here. This was information that I had. So I hold this here in my hand and I start off. Well, we'll listen to this.
With many daily challenges, said the process and integrity of transparent and legally conducted elections is currently at the forefront of our attention at the present time. This process is just as sacred as our right to freedom of religion. The current atmosphere of no trust in government and government officials is not retained by one political party, but spans all walks of life and beliefs. The local election board is the very root of our elections, which ensures that we have totally transparent and lawfully system, so that it is imperative that our Delaware County Election Board conducts its business by following the law and not being influenced by personal or political bias, and most importantly, not by past board decisions that did not follow the law. The integrity of the process is at stake. The process of ours allows for challenges by the electorate. I implore the Delaware County Election Board to totally follow the law, regardless of outcomes, to maintain the integrity of and ensure the sanctity of our elections with true transparency in the conduct of this very important process of our community. The election board cannot afford to conduct business in relying on past decisions of the board as being legal.
You see what he's doing here? Look at
saw
what
that.
an absolute rude asshole. Hey, here, Ed or Ted or Dickhead, whatever your name is, let me do the same thing. Okay, now we got it. What? I mean, like, okay, he got me. Let's see how long he holds his hand up.
Yeah, that was
And
rude as
proper.
shit. He can't be more
Read and
obvious.
apply the law equally and fairly to all concerned. We must now and forever in the future hold those accountable for their own actions.
Does he have someplace else to be?
He's mad, man. You're using his boss's words against him.
Yeah, right. Is this not an important thing? Should they not be paying attention so they can kick me off using the best law and the best words possible? I mean, this is really serious. This is well, I'll wait till his statement. Let's listen to that.
So
Inactions when
can you see Ed while you're reading this?
I can. I'm looking at him out of the corner of my eye. He's shaking his head no and making other distorted and contorted faces.
Like he's disagreeing with himself?
He's disagreeing with me, showing everyone that he's a hypocrite.
Oh, okay.
That's what he's doing. Maybe he doesn't recognize these words. I'm not sure. I don't know
who's thinking stupid shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I can't believe this idiot's up here reading this. Well, I make sure to explain who it comes from.
Involved in the election process. This includes government officials who have erred in judgment or in procedure. The bottom line is that we must follow the law when conducting our governmental business and our civic duties. That was a statement that was typed up and sent out as a press release by the Republican Party chair, Ed Carroll, last year. Now, I've left out some documents there, and I have paperwork. If you guys need to see that or want to see that for the record, I can provide that to you, and I have those copies here. But I think the message that was in this document is very important because that's what's at the forefront of what we're going to be discussing today. The next document I want to show you is a document that is not provided by the Indiana Secretary of State's office. It's not been part of a document for filing by the Secretary of State's office. It was a document created by the clerk, and this document reads, the clerk's office will no longer proofread, correct candidate filings. The proper paperwork and filing of the paperwork correctly is the responsibility of the candidate. We suggest that you review all paperwork with your party chairman before filing. I have read this form and understand that it will be included with my filings. Okay, I think that's also very important today. Okay, as we talk about my challenge to Mr. Bookout, I have no ill will towards either one of the candidates that I've challenged today. It's important that we follow the law. Okay.
That's the first time I said it. I'm gonna count how many times I say that. So I said it's important that we follow the law. That's one. Okay.
I'll read to you here this document from the American Association of Notaries. The most critical element of a notarized document is the notary signature. The lack of a notary signature is fatal to the notarization. It is essential that the notary sign every notarial certificate that he or she...
And look. Do you see what we just had here? This is paperwork, not that I did not catch this until earlier. So, if we are watching this, watch what happens here. Okay. Rick Spangler, the unbiased clerk on the election board, just handed their attorney a document. Now, what I want you guys to do very closely is watch where he puts this document.
He notarizes, even if the name on the notary
reads it
is spelled out in the official seal, even if he or she uses a rubber stamp that states his or her name, and even as his or her name appears pre-printed in the notary certificate. The lack of a notary signature is considered to be negligence that will render the notarization invalid. One example of such rejection occurred in Florida, where a candidate for re-election to state legislature was denied access to the ballot due to one notary who failed to sign.
So he's now asking Rick a question. Watch this.
The notary certificate that accompanied the candidate's paperwork, followed by a second notary who failed to indicate the notary certificate, how he verified. Sorry.
Okay. I'll wait till you guys quit acting like rude dickheads and get this on. This is a closed door meeting, I think. I don't like what's happening here. You're conferring with your attorney. That's fine, but it should be on the record. It needs to be on the record what you guys are saying about. All right. And I've got a real problem with it. I did not see in the meeting him hand that paperwork off. We're going to talk about that in just a second because I now know what that document is, and I got a real fucking problem with this.
Okay.
He put
How
that
he
down on his paperwork. So this was not something that Donnie came in with. All right.
verified the signer's identity, which is required item in Florida notary certificates. The result of these notary errors was that the candidate's district had to spend tens of thousands of dollars to hold a special election because that candidate was removed from the ballot.
Rick is 100% not listening
Next
to you.
up, I want to read from
No, he's not, because of that document that he just put, and I'm going to totally destroy him and Donnie and anyone else in there with that document that he just put down. That document means exactly dick, but I think that this is the first time I've watched this. I have not watched this today. So this is the first time I'm seeing that, and I am so fucking hot over that.
From Indiana Code 3342.912. And just in the very first portion of this section, it says a notarial act must be authenticated by a certificate bearing the date of the notarial act and the signature of the notarial officer. The properly completed certificate must conform to the following conditions. And then they have the stamp and yada, yada, yada. As you can see on the paperwork, or you should be able to see on the paperwork of Mr. Bookout's, it has left off on the amended document the signature.
Here's James King. I'm going out into the hallway.
Of the notarial officer, which I think would invalidate that notary. The next thing, Indiana Code 3827 in the very first section says the declaration of each candidate required by this chapter must be signed before a person authorized to administer oaths and contain the following information. And there again, I would assume that would have been either the clerk, if they would have turned it in, had the clerk stamp it, or a notary. And in order to have that notary be valid, they would have to have a signature on that line. And then,
how does a notary miss that?
Lastly,
yeah.
Okay, no, that's it. That's done there. I just want to say, I guess, with this.
Okay, he rolls over here to Donnie.
With this document, that I feel
kisses him on the neck
as if
your king comes back in.
Okay. I am not someone that likes to kick candidates off the ballot. I don't think that people should. I don't think that this election board should be used to do that.
Did we see his little smile?
The problem
there?
is, in the last several years,
watch this. Watch this.
He's
I don't know what he's smiling. I've never challenged anybody ever before. I have never, in Delaware County, I've never asked anybody to challenge anybody. I will clearly state for the record, last year, I brought to the attention of everyone's errors, and I did bring to a couple candidates the fact that Isaac Miller had an issue, because I said that the Delaware County Democratic Party challenged Isaac Miller. I am not the chair of the Democrat Party. I am not associated with the Democrat Party. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like most Democrats. Whatever. Piss off. I do not control them. They are not. Is Rick claiming that Joe Hunter's wife, which is Anna Quirk, by the way, are we claiming that Joe Hunter and his wife are minions of mine? Did they act in challenging Isaac as a minion of Kristopher Bilbrey? I think I'd like to ask Rick that. Rick, is that what you're saying? Watch this. Watch Rick smile.
Okay. I am not someone that likes to kick candidates off the ballot. I don't think that people should. I don't think that this election board should be used to do that.
Hates you.
The problem is, in the last.
Listen, I promise not more than I return that that feeling. And you know what? I lie. I love Rick. Rick is a great person. Screw him. He's not going to bring me down in hate. I think he's just ignorant. I don't hate him. I just know he's ignorant. I'm sorry for that. I don't know why. I don't hate the man. He's just ignorant. That's all there is to it. I can't help that. and he's welcome to blurt that out inappropriately at the next meeting we set down, or he's able to blurt out whatever he wants. But I hope that he knows that more people than myself, actually people that don't even like me, thought that he was out of line today.
Several years, we've had a jostling of what goes on. Sometimes people have been allowed to correct things, sometimes they haven't. I think that we need to get a baseline level of what's going on. I think that a good point of order was what happened last year, and we need to go forward from that. So if we are going off what happened last year, let's move forward. I'm asking the board to not change what happened from last year to this year.
What happened last year has nothing to do with this year.
What happened last year has nothing to do with this year. So we don't set any kind of regular precedent? I mean, are we just going to live life always? Because what Rick said from 2019 was what happened in 2019 would never happen again. And moving forward, he would work off of what happened in 2019. So was he wrong then, or is he wrong now? And because he actually said that, that causes me, you can see I'm smiling and I laugh here. So watch what happens.
That's not. It's okay, Chris. Laugh all you want, you know.
Laugh all you want. Oh, okay. I thank you for permitting me to laugh all you want. And that's what sets him off. Here we go.
You say you don't enjoy this. Why are you always the one here trying to do this? I mean, you're.
How many challenges that?
Well, because you get your minions to do them for you, Kristopher.
I think your mischaracterization there is extremely inappropriate for this meeting.
Well, may I ask, please, our lawyer?
Is he awake? I don't know. May you ask him? I don't know. Now let's hear what
Get a
he
stick
asked.
and poke him and wake him up.
Yeah, right. Does someone need to find out? Like, we need to check his pulse.
I'm a
I'm
lawyer
sorry.
too.
Sure.
So, Joe, we have a statute in Indiana that allows you to, it says.
Okay, so he's now going to read from the paperwork that Rick handed him, and what he's getting ready to read states that a notary that makes an error that does not, look, I'm going to show you right here on this paperwork. Show you right here. The bottom of this paperwork is notarized. All right. Ruby Morris is the notary in this case. If Ruby Morris would have left that bottom, it's in the very bottom. So where I drew the yellow line, if you come on down from it, you'll see the notary stamp. Okay. You'll see the notary stamp. Off to the side, you'll see the 10th of February, 2023. And right below 10th of February, 2023, you'll see Ruby Morris. If she would have left that off during the week challenge that Dwayne would have had to challenge Miss Webb, then Dwayne could have went back to her and said, whoops, you left this off. She could have written her name in there, and that document would have been perfectly legal. He could have turned it in. What would not have been permissible is for him to try and challenge Miss Webb, for him to get this notarized, for Ruby Morris's name to be left off, and for him to then take that document back after the challenge period. The same thing stands with the filing period. If you would have came into me at Gaddis Chrysler and you would have bought a car and went through that process, and when they are down there and they go through the act of notarizing everything and sending the stuff off for the title, if they would leave the signature off, it's permissible for them to send that back and them to fix it. I am not contesting the fact that it is perfectly legal to fix a notary. It's just not permissible to do it after noon on February the 9th. And now Rick is going to have a real problem because I called him on the morning of Monday the 12th, and I asked him if any amendments could be made, and he said no. Nothing could be amended after the 9th. I also called Valerie Warchaw at the Indiana Secretary of State's office, and I contacted Matt Kochevar, both attorneys at the Indiana Secretary of State's office, and they said nothing could be amended after the noon deadline. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they're sitting here. In all honesty, this is a farce, ladies and gentlemen.
That the failure of a notary officer to perform a duty.
See, I'm not shaking my head. No, I am saying, yep. I'm agreing with him.
In fact, you want to look it up. It's part of IC 33-42.
And if you guys want to look that up, I agree. It's IC 33-42-16-1. I'm not going to look it up and I'm not going to go through it. He's perfectly legal in what he's saying. A notary can be fixed. If you don't fix it, it's fatal. If you don't fix it ever, then it's a problem. If the notary doesn't sign that and you turn something in and then God forbid the notary dies, you're going to have to go through the process of having it re-notarized. You're going to have to figure something else out. But it's perfectly legal for a notary to fix it. It's just not legal for what happened for after the deadline. I don't know what else to tell him.
2-16-1 A. Rule A. Failure of a notary officer to perform a duty, meet its requirement specified in this article, does not invalidate a notary act performed by the notary.
Were you aware of that when you filed it?
Now, what he says to me, and I want to make a very serious distinction here. The attorney acting like he's caught me in some kind of grand, like I did something wrong. I don't like them ever making anyone doing what's legal feeling like they're wrong. He says, were you aware of that when you filed it? No. When I filed it, I wasn't aware. But preparing for this hearing, I was aware of that. However, that does not change the goalpost. It does not change the deadline. So, yeah, I was aware of it. Listen to what I said.
No, I was not. But in preparing,
I was not aware of it when I challenged it. But in preparing for this hearing, I became aware of it, and that's why I know it doesn't matter.
I read that. Now, I believe that says that it does not invalidate it if that can be fixed, and I believe that would be that.
And obviously, I'm not using the actual words. I'm paraphrasing. Look, I'm not going to steal their bread and butter and all their glory. I'm not an attorney. I'm not claiming to be an attorney. I'm just paraphrasing. It can be fixed. Okay, so that's what's going on here.
Fine if it's fixed before the deadline. The problem is if they could have fixed the notary prior to.
And I'm letting them know. I'm letting them know ahead of time. Election board, if you vote wrong here, I am going to file a suit on this, and we're going to fight this out. So you guys, all you need to do is follow the law, because the reason that Belinda Munson won last year was because we didn't have the ability to challenge her. We found out her error after the challenge deadline. They should have let me still challenge her. That would be the same thing as allowing him to fix this, but they didn't. But I'm telling you, if they do the wrong thing, I think after talking to everyone I'm talking to today, we will fight this out and see where we go on this.
Noon on February 9th, that would have been perfectly fine. The issue is we have a deadline of noon on February 9th, and that's a deadline for a reason, and I feel like we need to stick with that.
Yeah, Rick, are you letting anyone else come back and fix anything after noon on February 9th?
Well, let me ask you, could Dave Williams, because we still have to do the rest of this election hearing, could Dave Williams could he change his document and take off where he was a candidate submitted to petition a notary, and could he just check where he was a registered voter? Could he do that?
I guess if we're going to allow Brad Bookout to fix his, why not?
Absolutely. Now, look, we're just all sitting here. Nobody's saying anything. They're like, holy shit, this fat blob on the end just ruined our legal degrees.
Our one defense.
Right. That Rick prepared. Why didn't Bookout prepare that?
Which is interesting. Rick's
Yeah.
preparing the
Are
defense
you
for
referring
Bookout.
to
Yeah.
1 or 1A?
I don't have that document in front of me, sir, but I mean, I would look at what you've got there, but I'm just.
Why does he look like his head's about to hit the table over there?
Well, because he's also reading on his phone or something in his lap.
Is that what he's doing?
That's what I would wish I wouldn't have said that, known that. I wish I would have just left it like, I don't know what he's doing. But in all fairness, he's looking at his phone, which is between his laps. Now, I don't know what he was looking up, or maybe he was watching. You know what? I think he was watching that new thing, Who TF Did I Marry on Twitter. If you guys aren't following that, I think he was on like chapter 17 of that. I don't know, but just if you aren't checking out that little thing on Twitter, or excuse me, on TikTok, you might want to check it out. It's Who TF Did I Marry? I think that's what he's watching. I'm not really sure.
No, you know what happened was plan A was to go, did you know that it says in the law that they can fix it? And you're like, yeah, but not after the date. And then he went, fuck. Plan B, release the gas. Shit! I didn't think he'd come up with that.
Plan A was to say it could be fixed, and if that went awry, it was the gas plan. Because that's
I'm just referring to the fact that we have a deadline that was noon on February 9th.
Well, okay, let's let our lawyers look at this.
Okay.
All right.
But I mean, did me saying that stop him from looking that up?
Why do you need the lawyer to look at that all of a sudden? You guys know there's a deadline.
Wait a minute, aren't you a lawyer? Or isn't Hunter a lawyer? Like, you know, what? I should have been like, hey, could anybody in here that's a lawyer raise their hand?
Sure.
Because it would be as wrong for us
Absolutely.
to dismiss
Sir.
as it would be to agree with you.
Sure.
If the notary is not that important.
Why is his first assumption that he would dismiss?
Yeah, right. If the notary is not that important, if the notary, we literally, this dude, I'm scared for everybody that has ever paid him for legal work. The notary is not that important. Like, folks out there in TV land, you can laugh about that in your own time, and just remember that we have an attorney in Delaware County who just said, you know, it would be wrong for us to do this if the notary is not that important. I don't know who would say that. I didn't hear Rick or Don say that the notary is not that important. I didn't hear anything like that.
Yeah, why do we notarize these things? It's not
for
important.
me,
Right. If it's not that important, why is it on the document?
Yeah, exactly. If it's not important, then why are you making us do it?
Yeah, right.
You're just trying to employ your friends, give them a job, just stamp it and sign it for no reason?
You know what I'm going to do? Next election, I'm going to have my minions. We're going to file a bunch of candidates, and none of us are going to have the notary sign on it and see what happens.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, you guys are all booted. If it's all you guys and some of their preferred candidates, you guys will all get booted and the preferred candidates are okay.
Yes! Joe Hunter is the guy in the gray. I'll circle his head. Joe Hunter's right here. Joe Hunter is not who you've heard from. And let me be very clear. Julie. Joe Hunter is not the same individual that you knew. Joe Hunter back then was a stand-up guy. Joe Hunter now is a shell of his former self. Now, I will give him credit. He did argue a couple points in my favor, but I've just not got along. Joe Hunter has been questionable for the last several years.
Kate, you have to bring that back up when we get to that point.
and I don't know that our lawyer.
What?
Kate's point, there's have to bring that back up when we get there. When he talks about that.
Oh yeah, I've been off. Been off on another thing.
Has read it, but I've read the law, and I think you're misinterpreting.
I'm not seeing where it has that you correct.
I don't think it does have to be corrected.
And
That was what our Supreme Court told.
It doesn't have to be corrected. That goes against what he just read. He read it and said it can be corrected. It either has to be corrected or it doesn't have to be correct.
If it's not important, then why bother to fix it?
Listen to me. I would like for candidates to be able to go in and be like, hey, I'm running for county sheriff. And they'd be like, okay, Bilbrey's running for sheriff, and mark it down. I'd like for it to be like that. But we've got all of this dumbass paperwork we got to fill out. And so while we have to fill it out, I think it's probably important to fill everything out on here as correct as possible. If not, it probably wouldn't be on here.
You know how they could resolve this, all of this?
Yeah.
The freaking clerk's office, like the one they do here in Jay County, they look at your forms and go, yep, looks good. And then they stamp it and you move on.
That's true. It's like he works. That's the problem I have with so many people. They work so hard at not doing the right thing that it's like, dude, it would be so much easier for you to just do the right thing.
Yeah, just like, hey, you shouldn't have checked both.
But you want us to do what we think the law.
How long does it take you to review that? How many forms were there this election? Like 30 or something?
Right. How many candidates?
Yeah.
There wasn't that. Well, with the precinct committee people, it was quite a bit. I mean, I would say less than 100.
Okay.
Less
does it take you to just like glance at it? Like 2 minutes?
It didn't take us very long. I mean, we were able to glance. Yeah, it didn't take us long at all. It's very easy to look through these forms and tell. I looked through several candidates' forms, and none of those people got challenged. Amazing. Now the paper winch helped, and Kate helped, and I think we sent you some stuff. So that's what happened. But I mean, so I want you to listen to what Pete says here. This is real important.
I'm not seeing where it has that you correct.
I don't think it does have to be corrected. And that was what our Supreme Court told us.
I think he's misinterpreting the law.
Okay.
With that.
But you want us to do what we think the law is, right?
No, I don't want you to do what you think the law is. I don't know how much clearer I can make this. I want you to follow the law.
I want you to do what you think the law is. I want you to follow the law. If you're saying that's the law, follow the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we're staring.
Where's the gas leak?
Yeah, right. Damn it. Right. Hello. We ordered a gas leak.
Officer to perform duty or meet a requirement specified in this article does not validate a notary act formed by the officer.
So, but you feel it does invalidate.
I feel.
I don't know. I mean,
facts aren't feeling.
Not anybody can be a notary, and I mean, it's when you get things notarized, that's normally for a pretty serious, purpose, and it holds a level of, yes, this has been validated. This is who this is. I mean, if you ask me the question, do I feel it's important? I guess I would say
I asked you the question, despite that statute, if the notary did not sign, you feel that it ought to.
What accent does this dude have? Where did he come from? Yeah.
Not be allowed as a valid notary stamp.
I feel that I feel like the notary, the process of getting something notarized and everything that goes into that is a pretty serious happening. So,
yeah, but that didn't answer my question.
If you guys are saying,
dude, listen to me. I can draw a line between two dots, but if you can't tell that's a line, I don't know what's wrong with you.
That
maybe I'm understanding his question.
What?
I don't think I'm understanding his question. He's asking you if
he's asking me what I'm doing here. You're right. You're not understanding it, Brandon. He's asking me who the hell I think I am to challenge this. That's what he's asking me. He's not saying that. But for everybody that's like, David Williams says, how does an attorney not want to follow the law? He's getting ready to blow your mind. And I'm going to put this on a shirt. God, I got to get this before the next hearing. I'm going to work on that. Here, listen to this, because it's coming up. Probably one of the, other than Rick attacking me, probably one of the most favorite lines that I've heard today. Here, it's getting ready to come.
And you said a moment ago that it wasn't that important, then that's the way you guys vote against.
What I said is, despite what the law says there, you feel like we should still.
I'm saying follow the law.
Okay.
Did he think that he won something? Like, we were playing like word chess there. Like, I think he felt like, I mean, I've said the same thing every time I've said it. Follow the law. Follow the law. There's 3 words.
Follow? The law. I think what he's trying to say is, I think that they think they got you with that one line about how you can fix a thing. So he's going, despite the fact that it says you can fix that, you still think you're right? And you're like, well, yeah, you can fix it, but and that's the thing when you go back to this, like, yeah, it says you can fix it, but that doesn't invalidate the fact that the form can't be fixed after February 9th. Per the Secretary of State's office attorneys, you cannot amend it. So yes, you can fix it before that date, and that's what they seem to not be getting.
Yes. Like Kate said, they keep talking in circles. They will eventually hit on something argument they can hang on to. And I'm going to walk right through it. No, I don't think his dentures are out. I think he has 3 sets of dentures in.
He's got too many teeth.
Yeah, I think he's got too many teeth.
I think the qualification here is that they still have to be a notary. That's first.
It's still okay. The qualification is it still has to be done. Okay. Now we're getting now their attorneys arguing my point. It still has to be done, and it can be done as many times as they want to do it. Bookout or any other candidate can get 30 different notaries if they want, as long as it's done by noon on the 9th.
Well, if they're a notary, then you can still seek the validation of the record.
Does he fall asleep?
But then that's discretionary determination.
He's saying I can seek invalidation of the record, which is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here. I'm seeking that here. And then he just said that's up to their discretion. I don't know what he means there, because the deadline is not up to their discretion. Rick already told me that. Rick told me that himself with that stupid mouth that he yelled at me with. And I hope he remembers that, because I am going to make sure that they're aware of that too.
Well, that's the question.
And let me tell you what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to try to tell me I can't talk. And according to every other way they've ran, I get a rebuttal. I can't help the gas leak messed up. But what do you say?
Who, me?
Yeah, you said something.
Oh, I was just going to say, in the end, it still comes down to if they, that would be a point to push on your way out. If they say, no, he can update it, go, okay, well then who else gets to update theirs after the fact? I think that David Williams should be allowed to update his, and he should be allowed to finish his challenge.
Listen, it's 2024. I think Troy deserves to be able to update his from last year.
Yeah, no shit.
Make it automatic.
Yeah, you were kind of looking at with your head felt like a puppy looking at a idiot.
Yeah.
Yes. That's something that would invalidate the person's. Okay. And that would be what I'm looking there is that's under B.
How's it for them to decide what the law is? It's for them to follow.
33, 42, 16, 1, B.
Well, they would remember 1940, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my question is, I mean, how being a notary and knowing what the responsibility of a notary is, how do you go through this whole procedure, stamp it, and then not sign it?
That's a fair question.
I don't know, but like, use notary that's done that.
That's a concern.
That's kind of concerning.
What
I mean, it just
what you're telling us is
this, I'm telling you, statute states, failure of a notary officer to perform a duty or meet a requirement specified in the article, which over with the signature,
Yeah.
does not invalidate a notarial act performed by the notarial officer.
And that's by statute.
And it says on, yeah, now that statute, that does exactly, and then if you go down further, the presumed validity of a notarial act in this section does not prevent. And your
Listen, Delaware County, are you embarrassed? Delaware County, I mean, this is an I am embarrassing them 1 second at a time. I don't want it to be this way. I just want them to do the right damn thing. Start doing the right thing and you won't see me. If you don't want to see me, do the right thing.
party from seeking invalidation of a record or transaction relying upon a notarial act. Which to me then, leads to discretionary determination.
Sounds like he's like talking himself to sleep.
Yeah.
Right now.
No, not right now. Thank you.
Now sit your ass down.
Well, at some point.
At some point, you're gonna play.
Yeah, I know. I want to make sure we're through, through with Kristopher right now.
Right. Is there other things you want to present to us right now?
Well, it's so confusing. Who's running the meeting? Am I running the meeting? Who is running this meeting? Yeah, there's other things I have to present. I have a whole other challenge, but they try to make me seem stupid because I'm like, what? He wants to talk. He gets to talk. Bookout gets I want to hear from Bookout. He gets to talk. I don't know what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, I've got more stuff to present to you. We're not done. You've not voted. What's happening? So I'm like, yeah, I've got other stuff. I got another challenge. And they're like, no, we're going to stick with this challenge. And I'm like, yeah, right. But what's going on?
Since they keep pretending,
If we're done with this,
since they keep pretending you're running the meeting, you should be like, yeah, actually, you know what? I think we should go ahead and remove them from the ballots. Okay.
Yeah, right. I
Sounds
think we're
good.
done here. Let's go ahead and vote. I'll take a vote. And since I'm bigger than anybody here, I'll vote 3 times.
I guess since I'm in charge of the meeting.
Okay, yeah, sure. I just didn't know which
I
one.
want to take this challenge.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
They got me. I brought up my other challenge and they were able to make me look stupid. Ha ha.
if you want to step away from the mic,
Absolutely.
we'll allow the challenge party to come forward.
Yeah.
Good morning, members. I'm Brad Bookout.
You need to be sworn in, Brett.
Okay.
Sure. Or Donnie can, whatever.
Mr. Bookout, do you swear that you will tell the truth and nothing but the truth at this meeting? So help you
Expensive
God.
looking
Yes,
suit.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, members. Thank you for the opportunity to
And
share
see.
some information with you. I appreciate my challengers' interest in my candidacy, of course.
I bet you
I've
do.
lived in Delaware County
I bet he does.
for 51 years, and I'm confident in my ability to be on the ballot. I have prepared for you.
Listen, I'm confident in your ability to be on the ballot too. I don't just like Troy set a couple years out and run for something in 2 years. I don't think that you need the trouble or what the trouble's over, but I look, last time Brad was in politics, I was doing other things. This is a whole nother ball game.
3 items of evidence that I'd like to submit to you as a board, if I may pass those out to you.
Rick goes, hold on, I've got some evidence for you too. Here, everyone.
Yes, right.
I'll try to be quick with this, and I hope that this clarifies some of the,
There are 3 separate ones, or
they're stapled individually within the paperclip.
these are just copies of this.
Yes, sir. Copies of what I'm about to present.
Copies, eh? That's very
Yeah.
confusing.
Okay, so the first one is the rules regarding what constitutes a signature on a contract. I've researched this, and this is completed by Lisa Burns, attorney at law, and reviewed also by Aviana Cooper, attorney at law. all that needs to be
How
in
much did he
some
pay for this?
case.
So he's telling us that I'm not, you guys can go back and listen through all this. I'm not interested in listening to this. You guys can go and listen to all of this. He's getting ready to tell us that a signature is a line or a dot or a box or any other chicken scratch that you put on a paper.
Sure.
And while that might be true, I don't think that that's the truth for notaries, because matter of fact, they have a record of their signature on file, and it has to match that. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So like, I don't think that you could write a notary like Ruby Morris. Here's her signature right here. I don't think she could then draw a pine cone and that work. I think it needs to match her signature on file with the Secretary of State's office. Completely insane.
Case in order to represent your signature can be your name.
How much did he pay those two lawyers to prepare this?
Squiggle, anything that makes a mark on paper that
Yeah.
distinguishes your intent to sign the document. This also includes signatures made with stamps or by electronic means. Whatever method.
So is he trying to say the stamp is a substitute for the signature?
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Whether you intended to
It's
make
not true when it comes to notary.
Yeah.
Whether you intended the signature to signify the agreement upon which you're notarizing.
Okay, so we get through that. If you guys want to hear all of that, you can hear all of that. You can go back and in the meeting and listen to that.
Happy to answer any questions that you have, but I've tried to lay out the intent of what I believe the proper procedure is.
And for the record, he said that he did, for the record, I do want to say he said that he did go back and fix this on another sheet of paper, and he did that on the 16th, which was the day that I challenged him. I would assume he didn't do it before I challenged him. He probably did it afterwards. That's all great and good, but that's not noon on the 9th. Okay, we're getting ready to wrap up.
Which is acknowledgement that it was wrong and it needed to be.
Which is acknowledgement that it was wrong.
A public seal, declared the state of Indiana, Delaware County, the date of expiration of my commission, March 5th, 2028, as well as my county of residence. The
Okay,
intent.
he goes through all of that. At one point, Rick Hunter says, well, he did get it fixed. We've got a copy of that. And he said, but it doesn't look like it, but who did it? Rick actually tells him that the signatures are the same, the notaries are the same, and that's not true. Bookout had a first CAN2 with a notary and a signature on it. Then they amended that, which made that document null and void. They got it signed or they got it notarized by another notary, a different notary. So there are two different notaries involved. Technically, I guess there are three different notaries in the act. There's at least two different notaries going on. The original that did it properly and the second one that forgot to put the signature on it. And then right here is when the guy tells us the gas leak.
I mean, from my perspective, the real question comes down to, is she responsible for the act of someone else's act?
Right.
And
Sorry, the catered White House next.
I need everybody out in the building.
White Castles.
Heading towards the Mets building. Excuse me. We got next door.
The guy didn't even come in and say, he's like, I need everybody out of the building now. Go over to the MITS building.
And then he like she was ready to go, didn't she?
Yeah, dude. Her and Bill Walters is like, it's like that episode of Seinfeld where George is knocking down women and children and old people. Like they're like, we're fire, you know?
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, let's adjourn this meeting.
Yes.
Let's adjourn it.
Go fast.
Nice ass shot.
No.
Oh my God, who's carrying the camera? If that was you right there.
Yeah, right. That's real weird. So watch what happens here.
Sherry gets lost and confused.
Yeah, right.
tell you guys. Yeah. We are going that way.
Oh, she's just sleepy.
He told us to go still.
Dude, she's running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's be the big.
Why are you trying? He's trying to shake your hands are full, and you guys are trying to escape a.
Yeah, right. Like, dude, this is like.
Not the time.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So we exit the building.
Later.
We exit the building. I go out here. I'm filming them all over here. There's lots
Have to like me. I'm not asking these people to like me.
Listen to that amazing audio there. They're over here talking. This is a quorum, basically, and I'm sure they're not talking about the meeting at all.
A shit show and a half.
So
do one of those like spy ones where you can listen from a distance.
I know, right? I've got one of those back there. So good point, misinformed. If Bookout can update his form, why can't that challenge be amended? Ding, 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 ding. Who's that?
Yeah, what a smart, handsome guy that must be.
That guy was smart. So, come over here, show all this. Go down here. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically that. I do really quickly, one last thing, want to show you guys this because this is very, very important. Number one, I won't go back in 2022, all the way back during this board meeting, they kicked people off of the board for the very same thing that this lady right here, her name is Rebecca Adams. She was kicked off of the ballot for not filling in her city or county, the same thing that Ed Carroll was. Now, what blows my mind is like they went through all of this. This is precinct committee person. It wasn't like he's running for re-election of auditor. And they went through all of that trouble to just completely disenfranchise David from having his challenge moment. And they upheld it back here. And for the record, Rick was here on this. This was Rick. So here,
Statement of the candidate's party affiliation.
here's
And these are things that were missing on this form.
that was upheld. Then again, I'm going to show you here real quick. One more time.
And what you were registered.
Still the true address.
Ashley Nichols is making the funniest faces every time.
Oh yeah. It's always Ashley is always
expressive.
Very what?
Expressive.
Very, very expressive.
She wasn't a voter at all. She was pending. She couldn't have went to the polls that very day and voted under pending status.
Okay, and then
Moved back into her old house during that 7 days.
let me pull this up here briefly.
Man, she's fired up.
It's not in the rules. The rules applies to other offices, not to this office. And the fact of the matter is, the rules don't even require to be registered at all.
It took hours. What the person who just said it took hours? What are you talking about?
She was never not a registered voter. She wasn't kicked off the rolls.
No, she was in a pending status, which she would not, if the polls were open that
I'm
day.
gonna show
she
you
would not
this
have
here.
been
Let
allowed
me.
to vote as a pending voter.
Okay, so
Election day, that's a different rule. Again,
Land.
Right, it was candidate filing.
156.
I can understand.
Who appoints the election board members?
The clerk is on the election board.
We live in a country that's based on democracy, and that's why
The clerk is the election board member by his job.
Yeah.
And then the Republican Party chair appoints the Republican person. It could be the chair or a representative, and the Democrat chair or a representative.
Oh, okay.
Now, this man right here, Jesse Landis, he was also removed from the ballot for the very same reason that David Williams was challenging Ed Carroll. Okay, so that's important. And then lastly, I want to play this for you because this is very important. First of all, here's Ed. Oops, the gentleman that you saw right there. This is Joe Hunter. He is in this situation acting as the lawyer for a man that they're trying to kick off the ballot. And at one point, I believe he also asked David. He might have asked David if he was a candidate, but we heard Brandy say that.
So one of the messed up things about throwing out the challenge in general is, like, you see what the other challenges are, right? So if you see that, like, for instance, Ed Carroll's already challenged, then you're not going to challenge him. It's kind of jacked up because it kind of that almost eliminates anyone else's ability to challenge as well. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
30 is the number of candidates.
I want you guys to hear this.
I want to thank the board for the time you speak, and I want to welcome all the greeting loving audience members in attendance today. Know that Mr. Leonard and Mrs. Webb and Isaac Miller and myself all appreciate the support. Today, I want to discuss with you some numbers. 30. 30 is the number of candidates, 13 Democrats, 17 Republicans, that have filed to run in this year's municipal elections. 29 is the number of candidates that have errors on their paperwork. Over 130 errors to be exact. Errors made not only by candidates, but by the county clerk's office as well. These are professionals that should have the knowledge to do their portion of the paperwork properly, and they still made mistakes. 4. 4 is the number of candidates that had their paperwork challenged. 1 is the number of Republicans challenged by Democrats. 3 is the number of Republicans challenged by other Republicans. 0 is the number of Democrats challenged by the Republican Party or other Republicans. 0. 12 of 13 Democrats made errors on their paperwork, but not one Republican challenged. And finally, 2. 2 is the number of mistakes that my challenger made on his paperwork that he submitted to challenge. 1 on his IC 38-8, where he says here, I am checked one box, is checked the registered voter from precinct 40 in the township of Center, but he's also checked that he's a candidate who submitted a petition of nomination. What office are you running for, Mr. Richmond?
It was Troy that said it.
That's a good line. Use that one. At this time, I would like to give Mr. Richmond a chance to withdraw his challenge against me under the same scrutiny that he is holding myself and Brandy Webb to. Mr. Richmond? This is my turn to speak. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask the board for a motion to invalidate this challenge due to these errors. Because if you look on the supplement page, you will notice that down at the bottom, 2 different people filed challenges between me and Charles Leonard, Chuck Leonard. I find it funny how at the bottom of my page, there is information pertaining to Chuck Leonard's challenge. All right here. Oh. So I would ask the board for a motion to invalidate this challenge due to those errors.
So your next Delaware County Commissioner.
Yeah, right.
I was going to wait and see if you were going to motion. If not, then I know I'm not.
Nope, no motion.
I'm not going through all of this information to call anyone out, not the candidates or the county clerk's office. I'm merely trying to point out how common that these errors actually are and how often they occur. There are people saying we must follow the law, and I agree, but the law does not state that we have to be removed from the ballot. We can be allowed to amend our paperwork and remain on the ballot, and you as the county election board can allow that to happen. And that is what I ask you. Let every challenge candidate fix their paperwork and remain on the ballot. Today, you, the county election board,
And now listen right there. I one of two things. We either need to follow the law. So I disagree with what Troy is saying there in that fact. But at this point, he's asking them to go down one of two roads. Pick a lane. Like, if we're not going to follow the law, which it seems like we have a hard time doing, then pick your lane and let's stay in it. And so while I disagree with what he's specifically saying there on point, I don't in the overarching problem of Delaware County has a problem deciding what happens from year to year to year. Okay.
We'll set a precedent. And it will be one that states you believe that a select few should have the final say in who the people get to vote for, or it could be one that states that the citizens of our great community should have the choice to vote for who they choose.
Absolutely.
Very good. That's his statement for that year. I agree. I mean, I agree with the overarching message that he gave there. I think that Troy is spot on. I think all of this does is show the hypocrisy of these idiots. And I am begging these people to do the right thing. They were given a reprieve today, I guess, because of the gas leak issue. Please do the right thing, or I guess continue allowing me to make you a hypocrite, I guess. But, you know, we don't need, please allow me to continue showing your hypocrisy. I'm not making them a hypocrite. They're the hypocrites themselves. I'm just showing the hypocrisy. I don't think anybody can watch that hearing that we had today and feel good about their Delaware County government. I just don't think that can happen.
Nope.
You have any last words there, sir?
No, I mean, I think you've said it all. It's just ridiculous. It's the thing that's difficult is trying to wrap your mind around the weird mental gymnastics you have to do to try to justify such weird hypocritical trains of thought. In that, just watching that again and kind of reviewing it, just the things I didn't notice, where it's like, oh, well, we're throwing out your paperwork because you can't amend it. Oh, well, he can amend his paperwork. It's like, it's been 10 minutes since you guys said that, no, his paperwork's not filled out correctly, so you're not going to hear it and he can't fix it. Oh, but he fixes it after the fact, so it's good. It's like weird mental gymnastics.
It is. And I understand why they have a hard time with that. Now, I'm going to be looking into why Ashley resigned. I'm going to be looking into when she resigned and what all that was about. Maybe it was something, maybe it's nothing. But I don't know when the next election board will be. They have to at least give 48-hour notice unless they're going to call an emergency meeting. I don't think that this rises to the level of an emergency meeting, but this isn't something that can drag on for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's Thursday. So if they called, let me go on here real quick. This is the last thing we'll do. I'll just look on the Delaware County page to see if they happen to have posted it this afternoon. I don't know how long, if or for at all, the county building was shut down today. Let's see. Notice Delaware County Election Board Thursday, February. Closure, county executive session. Yeah. Okay. So there's nothing else. There's nothing else posted so far. Oh, no. Hold on. Thursday. Okay. Today's the 22nd. Okay. Yeah. So there is nothing else posted. We are not aware of anything, and I will keep you guys aware of what's happening, obviously. So that's crazy. We do have, I want to just say for the record, we do have another makeup meeting for Delaware County to go. Madison County's is Monday. Henry County's is Monday. Randolph County's is Tuesday. And the state commission is Tuesday. Madison County's at 1:30. What? Oh, yeah. Kate's got it up on the board. There we go. So you see when that is. We'll keep you posted for all of that, folks, and you'll be able to tune right back in here and get more information. I do believe today's Thursday, so I think that we're off tomorrow. Yeah, we are off tomorrow. We're off tomorrow. We're off Saturday. We will be back Sunday with a big show. I'm happy that Brandon was able to stop in with us. We will be following this. I'm going to be cutting this down into short segments so people can see it. And I'm also going to be making some social media posts about all of this because people need to become aware. At one point, and I think that's what I'm going to call the whole thing, at one point said, Pete Drum said something about the discrepancy in the law. Man, I can't think of what he said. I'll tell you guys on Sunday what it is. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching. I appreciate it. Sorry for going so long, but there was a lot of information we need to get through. We'll obviously stay up to date with Brandon's hassle with the state government, and hopefully he'll have some great information there soon. And of course, we will definitely be watching House Bill 1338. Continue to call the state senators, folks. We've got to kill that bill. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very, very, very much for watching, and we will see you all again Sunday evening. That will be Sunday the 25th. Until then, take care. Good night. God bless. Goodbye. Stayed here for the whole time.
Even though people folks saying that, what he said, just a little longer, and we'll get you tucked in.
What? Say it again.
Stumblefoot foot, just a little longer, Brandon. We'll get you sucked in.
Turn the lights out, Brandon.
All right, you on your way to tuck me in, Stumblefoot?
Yes, he is. He's got you tucked in along with your beloved weed whacker.
I don't have a wife. It's a weed whacker with a wig on it.
Good night, Ryan.
Good night, Ryan.
Hey, and good night, Rick. Good night, Pete. Good night, Joe. Hey,
Jimmy Joe.
Keep the party going, Donnie. Oh, God. Yes, thank you, Karen.